everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Christine and I like to read dark and disturbing things. And if you know me, you know I love to get things in the mail. I love to get book mail, and I like to call that mailbox magic. Anything that is not a bill, anything fun you get in the mail is the mailbox magic. And I love it just because it's a fun little, pick me up throughout the day. So I have two packages we're going to take a look at today. So let's open them up. Some might say I have had an addiction to book boxes in the past or present, and I think that would be true. I have severely cut down on what I have gotten, and I have been using my skips quite a bit. So the one subscription that I haven't gotten rid of is Nightworms. Nightworms is, for me, a local business that mails out 2 horror books every month. A lot of times it includes stickers, bookmarks, sometimes a drink, and I really love the choices, and I just have really enjoyed the books that come in this subscription. So I do highly recommend them. They do allow you to pause or skip, so I have been using that feature lately. If you follow them on Instagram, you could always see what the next box is going to be if you want to be spoiled. And I have started using that, and I have been getting about every other box this month. Maybe sometimes it's a book that I already have an arc of, and I want to read that first before I decide if I want to buy a hard copy for myself. And I know what's in. So basically that's a long way of saying I know what's in this box today as far as the books go, and I have skipped next month. So this is the only book box I have to show you today that is a subscription. I have skipped my Aardvark and I've skipped my book of the month, all that stuff. I do have this box here, which is from my friend Zach over at Shadyside Library. You should check out his channel if you don't already. We became friends through BookTube, and kind of his love for all of the YA books that I was into the first time they came around. We like to send each other mailbox magic. And in this one, we did a trade. I traded him something. I traded it for some of his books that he had. And so I do already know what's in here, but I didn't really look that closely at them. So we're going to take a look at those today. First, let's open up the Nightworms package. Actually, one of the books came outside of this package, so I guess it wouldn't fit in here. And it's kind of unfortunate because the glue from this package glued to my book. So it's only along the bottom edge, and I can probably scrape that off, but I was trying really hard not to rip it. So let's just show you that book, which is probably the main book that a lot of people were looking forward, because it is the new Nat Cassidy book, When the Wolf Comes Home, No One Will Be Spared by Nat Cassidy. I read Mary by Nat Cassidy, and I also read Rest Stop, which is like a short novella that I really liked. I haven't read Nestlings yet, which I do own, so not sure. I think I should make myself wait to read this, even though I really want to read it. Until I read Nestlings. But if you could see, there is a wolf there on the cover. This says, one night, Jess, a struggling actress, finds a 5-year-old runaway hiding in the bushes outside her apartment. After a violent, bloody encounter with the boy's father, she and the boy find themselves running for their lives. As an attempt to evade the boy's increasingly desperate father, horrifying incidents of butchery follow them. At first, Jess thinks she understands what they're up against, but she is about to learn that there's more to these surreal and grisly events than she could ever have imagined, and that when the wolf finally comes home, no one will be spared. So far I guess I've only read a few Nat Cassidy books, but even knowing what I know about the Nestlings and now this one, they all are very, very different books. Like a lot of times the themes or the tones seem to be similar when you're reading from the same author, but with this author, I feel like they're all very different. So excited to get to that. This one, just curious. It is almost 300 pages. So that is our first book. And as much as I love hardbacks, man, like reading this just looks like such a comfortable book to read. I like the hardbacks for my shelf, but when it comes to actually reading them, I do like paperbacks. So let's open up the package. if I can do that without scissors. Oh, okay. So the other book, I did know what it was. I didn't know it was this big. Not that it's huge. Let's do the goodies first. I'm getting ahead of myself. So usually we have some stickers and a bookmark, and it will let us know the theme of this box. So the theme is Sun and Moon. I'm just not showing the bottom because it will tell you what is in here. And we definitely have some, oh, okay. So we have a sticker here, a Sun and Moon sticker. We have another sticker with Sun and Moon, but in wolf form, which I think is pretty cool. This one's a pretty large sticker, actually. We have our bookmark. Here. And we have our signed book plates. And what the hell? This has got to be for the second book. Okay, so we have a pamphlet that looks like it would be for like a retirement home situation or assisted living situation, and that is definitely has to do with the next book. And oh, I forgot to show you. We also got tea, which I love Earl Grey tea, but this says chocolate Earl Grey and caramel. I don't know about chocolate tea, but I will try it because I do like Earl Grey. And this is from Riddle's Tea Shop. But back to the book. This book was actually on my radar for new books coming out. This year, I have done like a first quarter and a second quarter so far. I will link that down below because I do talk about this book here. This is The Sundowner's Dance by Todd Kiesling. And this is from Shortwave Publishing. And for that reason, I guess I've never gotten a hardcover book from them. So I thought that this was going to be like a shorter paperback novella type, or like just on the shorter side. But this is a hardcover. It's a little over 300 pages. So I guess I thought this was going to be a little bit of a shorter book. So if you're wondering what that has to do with this, sundowner syndrome is basically something that occurs in older people when the sun goes down. And I'm just going to read the synopsis here to you. Jerry Campbell wants to be left alone. Grief-stricken over the death of his wife, Abigail, the elderly widower and recent retiree is desperate for a change of scenery. When the realtor suggests a new home in Fairview Acres, which is that, they actually made a pamphlet for Fairview Acres, a retirement community in the Poconos, Jerry figures it will be a nice place to spend the rest of his days in solitude until he moves in. Weird neighbors, nightly block parties, strange noises across his rooftop at all hours. Worst of all, Arthur Peterson, chairman of the Fairview Acres Community Association, who seems obsessed with coaxing Jerry and participating in these neighborhood activities. At first, Jerry shrugs off the incidents and eccentricities, telling himself that he doesn't want to be the guy who complains about everything. But all that changes one evening when Catherine Dunley appears on his doorstep with an ominous warning. You need to leave. The worms, they dance at nightfall. His neighbors all say Catherine suffers from a form of dementia called sundowner syndrome. But as the weeks progress and the strangeness mounts, Jerry begins to suspect there's something else going on in the neighborhood. Something that has to do with a huge stone in the community park. Heartfelt and unsettling, Todd Kiesling's latest novel, The Sundowner's Dance, propels readers through a terrifying exploration of grief, dementia, and perhaps the greatest horror of all, growing old. I think this one's going to be good because I think we're really going to tap into that fear of getting older, fear of what happens when maybe your mind isn't as sharp as it used to be. Are things actually happening? Is this part of getting older? Or is there actually some horror there? I think that this is something a lot of people can identify with or are scared to be able to identify with. So I think this one's gonna kind of scare the shit out of me a little bit. And this pamphlet even they made has that guy that they mentioned, Arthur Peterson here. I love that they made like a whole pamphlet to promote this book. I really love Shortwave Press and pretty much anything I've gotten from them so far. So This, I knew I wanted both of these books. I'm very excited about both of them. I can't even pick one or the other. Love it. Love it. So now we have this box of books that I traded with Zach from Shady Side Library. He, let me see if I can take this off without, I'm going to put this here so you guys can check out and subscribe to his channel, his Goodreads. Looks like he's got a book talk. I don't have TikTok. But there you go. He's got little promo stickers, which I think is hilarious and I love it. And then I have the books that he very carefully wrapped for me. So I'm just going to go in the order they're in. And this first one, I remember I owned this. Man, he gets these books in such good condition. Mine are like, the ones that I have are pretty crummy, but this looks pretty good. This is The Snowman. This is a point horror book. And I know that I owned this when I was probably in like 5th grade. And this copy probably is in better condition than the one I had back then. I wish I had kept all that stuff. Heather feels cold all the time, alone. Her guardian hates her. He'd love to see her dead. He'd like all her money, but for now he settles for controlling it and making Heather's life miserable. Poor little rich girl, just like Cinderella. Then the gorgeous ice blonde guy shows up at the crummy restaurant where Heather works after school. He understands about Heather. He's her Prince Charming. No one can get to Heather now. Heather feels so safe, so loved, so warm. I love the idea of like winter Christmas horror. So I don't know if this is Christmassy at all or if this is just the cover. You never know with these, but I'm going to save this one for winter to read hopefully this season. This next one I've never seen before, but this is a Diane Ho book called Med Center Virus. So I'm guessing that Med Center was oh, this is book 1 in the series, which is cool because I am not familiar with this at all. And then I could start with book 1 and then hopefully find more if I'm into it. This says a lethal virus has taken over Grant, Massachusetts, and no one knows where it comes from. The staff of the Med Center is struggling to save lives and find answers for panicked families. The volunteers are at the center of it all, but they've got troubles of their own. Susanna, the daughter of the richest man in Grant, just wants to work at the hospital. Her partying twin brother Sam's thoughts are elsewhere. Will, one emergency call after another gives him little time for a romance he knows is hopeless. Kate, ambitious and smart, she's afraid her dreams will never come true. And Callie, the scheming daughter of the hospital administrator, is determined to make trouble. But the Med Center crew fights an enemy they can't see. They feel terror everywhere. So I wonder if this is just actually more of a medical drama, even though it says invisible and deadly and has this cover here. Let me know if you know about this series. Next is a book that looks very familiar to me, but I don't think I ever read this. This is called The Accident. It says she has returned from the dead. And it has this pretty amazing cover. I love that the back says, win an awesome stereo system. Details inside. She appears in Megan's mirror one day, nothing more than a wispy, shadowy plume, glowing with an eerie light. Her voice is faint and hollow like a distant echo. The voice of a young girl. Strangest of all is her request. I beg you to trade places with me, Megan. Just for 1 week, let me live again. Megan is overcome with fear, yet she is drawn to the shadow in the mirror, unable to look away. Fascinated by the oddly soothing voice, she listens to a tale of a horrible accident many years before, a tale she'll never forget. Gradually, Megan begins to realize she has no choice. As terrified as she is, she knows she must make the trade. And then I did get a couple Fear Street books. This one, wow, this looks brand new. This is the second in a series called Silent Night, and I read the first Silent Night, I think not this last Christmas, but maybe the one before. I don't remember, but we had this like rich girl that worked at the mall that was being stalked or something was going on. She wasn't very nice, I'll say. So it was kind of fun to see her be tortured. So this is part 2 of that. And then this one, I am fairly certain I either owned or read because this looks so familiar to me. And that is The Sleepwalker. 1 week after she starts her summer job on Fear Street with old Miss Cotler, Mayra Barnes begins to sleepwalk. How terrifying to wake up outdoors in the middle of the night and not know where she is. Mayra becomes even more terrified when she discovers Miss Cotler may be a witch. Is the old woman casting a spell on Mayra to make her sleepwalk? To add to Mayra's horror, she's being followed by a menacing stranger who seems to recognize her, but she's never seen him in her life. Mayra's sleepwalking is leading her into more and more peril. Soon she realizes she must take action. She must find out what's happening or she may never leave Fear Street alive. I've got 3 more. The next one is The Fog by Carolyn B. Cooney. I'm not familiar with this one. I don't remember seeing this when I was younger. This cover is not familiar to me in any way. This says, Christina leaves her home on Burning Fog Isle off the Maine coast to go to school in the mainland. She's not worried. She can handle the work. She can handle the kids who scorn poor hick islanders. But there's one thing she can't handle, the evil. Something very, very dangerous is going on in the home of the principal, Mr. Shevington, and his wife, where Christina boards with the beautiful, dreamy Anya. Anya is being driven mad before Christina's eyes. Now the fog is coming in. It's cutting them off. If it had a life of its own, trapping Christina and Anya in the old house on the cliffs above the sea. Christina and Anya are alone with the evil. And then it's just Christina. This is another one that I've never seen before by Sinclair Smith called Dream Date. Kate's worst nightmare has come true, and she's in it. Shy, pretty Katie longs to meet the perfect guy. She thinks she has, when she falls asleep one night and meets Heath Granger in her dreams. Heath is handsome, charming, exciting, and if he's a little jealous, so what? He's only a dream, or is he? Soon Katie is sleeping more and more while she's dreaming of her life away. Heath is getting stronger, and he's getting meaner, and he doesn't want to stay in Katie's dreams anymore either. He wants to visit her while she's awake. Katie's finding it harder and harder to tell what's real and what isn't. Her dream date has turned into a sleepwalk with terror. The whole time I'm reading this, I'm like thinking that she fell in love with Freddy Krueger. I don't know. That would be a great twist. And last but not least is a book. I've seen this book all over. I don't remember if I read this when I was younger, but I've been wanting to read it. And that is April Fools. I feel like I see this every April 1st. And so I am excited that I'll be able to read it this next April Fools. It says, on the night of April 1st, Belinda, Frank, and Hildy are driving home from a party when they get involved in a gruesome car accident. The people in the other car never could have survived the wreck, so Frank insists they take off. Damn, Frank, that's cold. After all, what happened wasn't really their fault. 2 weeks later, Belinda is the only one who still feels guilty about the accident. Then the pranks begin. Someone sends her a bloody doll's head. A car nearly runs her off the road. Obviously, someone witnessed or survived that car accident, and they're going to make her pay slowly for what happened. April Fool's Day is over, but these jokes are for real. Isn't this just the premise of I Know What You Did Last Summer? So yeah, I guess that was here first. All right, so thank you to Zach for all of these. I have a lot of reading ahead of me here. So that is all I have for the month of May. I had to think about what month we're in. I have been really, I guess, good about not buying books. I don't even have the desire to go to the store and even look around anymore. I don't know what's changed. I'm not like in a challenge or anything like that. I just feel like I have enough at this point. And I feel like I'm kind of reaching that point in my life in general where I'm just trying to enjoy the things that I have and use them to their fullest before I'm off looking for a place to spend money that I don't have right now. So I don't know, maybe I'm finally maturing this late in life. Pretty soon I can apply to see if I can live in this facility, but I finally am maturing. All right, so that's all I have for you guys. If you made it this far in the video and you want to say hi, but you don't have much to say, just leave me a little wolf emoji. And there's Sprocket whining because she could tell I am wrapping up this video and now we get to go read a book. Do you want to read a book, Sprocket? You want to go read a book? Yeah, that's a yes. Sometimes she'll give me a little howl. No howl? Okay. All right, I'm going to stop torturing her. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, stay spooky.